Taking a deep dive into managing your risk within cloud environments, please welcome Kunal Modasiya, VP Product Management at Qualys, and Synapse's SOC Manager, JC Najera, in our next session, VMDR for Multi-Cloud, a single CNAP platform with Qualys.
I know all of you guys were searching for a guy who checked in the bag. I'm introducing myself. I'm Kunal Modasiya, and I'm the guy who checked in the bag. Okay? Now here is the thing. If by checking the bag, if I can get so much coverage and so much attention, then why not? Every single time I'm going to check the bag. Every single time. Since morning, I have gotten more coverage than actually the ETM, so why not? I'll do it. All right, so let's get started with the Synapse journey. VMDR for the multi-cloud. As a part of my portfolio, I lead the 3 product line. One of them is the cloud and container security. The second one is the attack surface management. And the third one is the application security, right? So today in the room, we have almost every customer who has been using our VMDR product, right? So first, let's start by thanking all of you for using our VMDR enterprise-grade, industry-leading VMDR product that you have been using it to secure your on-prem workload for the last 20 plus years. So thank you so much. Right, now what's happening? Now you guys are shifting and lifting some of your workload to the multi-cloud environment, isn't it? And as you are moving to the multi-cloud journey, remember, you had trusted us to do the VMDR, policy compliance, file integrity monitoring for your on-prem workload for the last 20 years. We do want to help you as you are accelerating your journey to the cloud and multi-cloud, so you will get a same experience, same enterprise-grade vulnerability management, and the compliance solution as you move to multi-cloud. Those acronyms are different. They call it as a CSPM, CWPP, CDR, and whatnot. However, the policy management, the VMDR, the consistent experience that you are going to get it, and the part here is the key thing is that you will get this single console to look into your on-prem and the multi-cloud and the container environment, right? There are not many vendors who can do this on the planet. Yes, there are some tiny players who can do just the cloud, and there are some players who can just do the on-prem, right? But we are the only one who can do both, and we will help you through this journey, right? Okay. Now, while you are going through this migration, the cloud migrations are obviously not easy, and we get it. As you go through this cloud migration, there are a bunch of the challenges that your different teams are facing. Vulnerability management team, security team, SecOps teams, DevOps teams, SRE team, all of those new teams are now helping you guys with your cloud journey, and they are facing some of the challenges, right? The cloud team, cloud security team is looking into the visibility into their entire infrastructure, right? Multi-cloud infrastructure. How do they get the visibility into all of their multi-cloud resources? There is an identity team that wants to get the visibility into all of the shadow identity or entitlement in the cloud era, right? There are a vulnerability management team that is you guys, while your development team is spinning up so many new resources at the light speed. Now the question is, how are you going to keep up of scanning those workloads as they come and go very, very fast? And there is a DevOps team, there is a SRE team. They face a different type of challenges. On the other hand, you see the breaches are continuing to increase. The attackers, they are not going anywhere. They continue to target your cloud infrastructure. Look at some of the data points. Last year, because of the cloud misconfiguration, there was a massive data breach. And that has exposed nearly 200,000 plus customers' data. There was another breach where this was very smart, right? Attackers had actually injected the malicious code into the image registry. So every time the new container were spin up out of it, they had a malicious code running into it. Very smart move, right? So now every time you create a new container, it is already having a malicious code running into it, so the public registry was compromised. Now, if you are thinking that these are some of the isolated instances, that's not right. It's pervasive. It's everywhere. And look at some of more data points here, which already you guys are familiar with, so I'll try to skip fast, but the misconfiguration, unauthorized access remains the top of mind concern for all of you guys. Dealing with the complexity in the multi-cloud environment is not easy. Especially the containerized environment is extremely dynamic. Containers comes and go very, very fast. And while you are taking through your cloud and container journey, the compliance remains the top of the mind for everyone, right? You have to take the compliance. So if you are thinking that some of the breaches are like very isolated, one-off event, then that's not right. It's pervasive, it's happening, every day it is happening. All right, so cloud security strategy is a key component as you are looking into your building a modern risk operation center that today our CEO Sumit Thakar announced, right? So now as you are looking into it, the cloud security is the key component as you are building the modern risk operation center. Now, when you are considering the cloud security strategy, there are different options that many organizations are exploring. Some of them are going for the best of breed solutions, just for the misconfiguration, or just for the vulnerability scanning, or just for the runtime detection. Some organizations are going for the container security solutions as a siloed tool. Now, this approach is going to result into the siloed approach for your multi-cloud security journey. What we believe is that what you need is the unified approach where all of these functions as a part of your cloud security needs to be integrated, built in, and not bolt on. We firmly believe that the journey to your risk operation center requires a solid cloud strategy, cloud security foundation component in place. With that said, it's time to introduce Qualys' Total Cloud Synapse solution. It is the market-leading, unified cloud security, threat management, vulnerability management solution powered by one agent, one platform with our Qualys' unified architecture that was laid back in early 2000 when I was in high school. Right, as Sumit said, the cloud and the SaaS journey started in 2000 very early. So we firmly believe that our total cloud solution is going to help you as you are building your modern rock. Now, what are the different components of the Qualys' Total Cloud Synapse solution? So as I said, it includes the unified cloud security, vulnerability management, compliance, and the threat management solution into the one platform. The first one is the CSPM, which is about your misconfiguration, finding your multi-cloud inventory, finding out the misconfiguration, scanning your ISC template. So as development team is building some of the infrastructure, provisioning some of the infrastructure, you remain the compliant. Second is the key part, cloud infrastructure and entitlement management. This is where our total cloud helps you build the inventory of all of your cloud identity and find out all of the excessive permissions that you have given to some of those entities, so that it is going to help you find the lateral movement and figure it out those overly excessive permissions. Third one is the cloud workflow automation, but I'll talk about in a minute. And the key thing here is the vulnerability protection, right? Cloud vulnerability management solution, right? So as a part of our Synapse, we have a flexible vulnerability scanning solution, which helps you with the agent-based or agentless, snapshot-based or API-based scanning. When it comes to the scanning, there is no one-size-fits-all. So you really need a comprehensive scanning strategy. So with our CWPP solution, you get a 6 sigma accuracy. And the point here is that it's the same enterprise-grade vulnerability coverage that you have been using it for the last 20+ years for your on-prem environment, right? So this is all packed into the one, including the container security, which Abhishek and Niharika is going to talk tomorrow in a session, so please do attend. Also, as a part of the solution, we do have a cloud workflow automation, which I'm going to show you the live demo later, but it's going to help you with the automating and orchestrating some of the workflow for your shift left or a shift right for your DevOps or a SecOps environment. So this total cloud Synapse platform is fully built in within our platform. We haven't acquired any company. Many organizations have taken a route of acquiring the companies to build the Synapse solution, whereas our Synapse solution is fully built in with our architecture. Everything is natively integrated, so you get a one unified experience with a one agent and the one architecture. Okay? So now let's deep dive into some of the components. So as you are looking into your risk prioritization journey, how is the total cloud Synapse is going to help you, right? That's the question. The first question about the risk prioritization comes when you're talking about the visibility. How am I going to get the visibility into all of my multi-cloud infrastructure? How am I going to scale for the compliance at the scale, right? How am I going to do the vulnerability management for my cloud infrastructure? How am I going to secure all of the identity and the entitlement in the cloud world? And the last but not least, cloud and containers, they go together, right? So now how are you going to secure all of your cloud infrastructure? How are you going to monitor your containers? How are you going to monitor your image registry? How are you going to scan it? This is where the visibility, the first foundational component is the visibility, which is very, very important. With our total cloud solution, you get the visibility into your 4 multi-cloud account, multi-cloud environment, which is AWS, Azure, GCP, and OCI. It has a coverage up to 200 plus inventory resources across the 4 cloud. Also, we support OCI, and we are working on the Alibaba support. So we do have a large customers in the Europe that have more than like 1,000 plus accounts, cloud accounts that they are managing at the scale. So the Synapse solution helps you with visibility, which is the first thing for your compliance and the configurations and the inventory. And this is what is going to help you removing the blind spot in your environment. Here is the thing, did you know, you guys are VMDR customer, and we are talking about visibility into your cloud and container environment. As a part of your VMDR subscription, you have a free total cloud inventory access, absolutely free. So as a part of your VMDR solution, you can connect to your cloud accounts free. Get all of the cloud resource visibility so you can start scanning them. You can start taking the compliance for that. I know, William, you are smiling, but we are fixing things for you. So you get a complete unlimited. But yes, it is unlimited, and do reach out to your account manager so that you can connect to your cloud inventory, get all the resources in one place. All right. Let's deep dive into the CSPM component, the first foundation component. Whether you are in a cloud, on-prem, IoT, OT, the one thing that always remains is making sure that you have compliance. Always you are audit ready, you are already taken care of your compliance posture, right? This is not going anywhere. So with our CSPM solution, with the API-based discovery, we discover all of your 4 cloud resources within a few minutes, and I'll show you in the live demo as well. Once we discover, then we apply the CIS benchmark, we find all of the misconfiguration, and we validate with the latest CIS 3.0 benchmark. By the way, some of you may not be aware, the CIS, Center for Internet Security, it was started in 2014. We were the original author of the CIS benchmark. So with our CSPM solution, we quickly evaluate all of your cloud control against the CIS benchmark, plus we do support AWS best practices, Azure best practices, and many other frameworks to validate some of your cloud control against the compliance, right? Once we do that, then comes is being the audit ready. We do support up to 35 plus compliance mandate. That includes GDPR, HIPAA, PCI, CMMI, You name it, all of them are available. So now when you have an audit coming in your environment, you can just simply download the report. And I will show you in a demo as well that how you can quickly obtain the compliance report. In fact, we have 3 Fortune 50 banks, maybe some of them are here in the room, and they have been using our Total Cloud CSPM solution to take the compliance for their multi-cloud infrastructure. In fact, they were using the policy compliance solution for their on-prem workload. And as they move to the cloud, they leverage our Qualys CSPM solution to take the compliance, and they were always audit ready with their PCI or a FedRAMP compliant. This is your favorite part, isn't it? Vulnerability scanning for the cloud workload. When it comes to the scanning your cloud workload for the vulnerability, you really need a comprehensive strategy. There is no one size fit all. You have some workloads that comes and goes very, very fast. Your DevOps and the SRE teams are basically spinning up a new workload, so you need a quick API-based assessment, which you can do it just in 10 minutes. For the long-running workload, you can deploy the agent, and it's going to do the complete 360-degree VMDR scan for you, which is the same coverage that you get for your on-prem infrastructure that you are doing with VMDR. You want to deploy the network scanner. Since you are not able to deploy the agent on all of your cloud workload, you could deploy our network scanner, you get the same coverage. And finally, everyone's favorite, perhaps, the snapshot agentless based scanning. If you have done lots of merger and acquisition, you don't have access to some of the resources, inventory, because they are from your subsidiary that you have acquired. You wanted to still scan them as they come up and go fast. In fact, because of the compliance region, you have to scan everything, but you are not able to deploy the agent. Then with our snapshot-based agentless scanning, you could scan it and you get the same coverage. So it's a very comprehensive vulnerability scanning coverage, and you get a same enterprise-grade vulnerability management capability for your multi-cloud environment that you are getting it for your on-prem. By the way, did you know that Qualys is securing the 44 million workload in the cloud today? 44 million of the cloud agents are deployed in the multi-cloud environment, and customers like you guys are scanning that for vulnerabilities. So this is at the scale that we are talking about. We have customers who have 1,000+ cloud accounts, thousands of resources that they are scanning, thousands of workload that they are scanning with our CWPP offering. The third part of the Total Cloud Synapse is the KIM component. What do we do here? With our KIM solution, we discover all of your cloud inventory, user, role, their permissions, their entitlement, and everything. Then we figure it out what are the roles or identities are given overly permissive entitlement. Now, when you have an identity or a user or a role configured with a root privilege or overly permissive permissions, excessive permission, that means then if attacker can access those, then they can move laterally using those permissions, and they can infiltrate and they can steal the data. So with our KIM solution, we help you discover that, monitor that for a lateral movement, and you can then decide to reduce some of those excessive permissions given to those accounts or those users. We have one large industrial manufacturing company in Europe, perhaps a life science company building the instruments. They have been using our KIM solution for a while, and they were able to find out some of the shadow identity of the employees who left the organization, and still they had access to some of those things. So we were able to discover them, and they were able to reduce the risk that was coming through those identity. Kubernetes and container security, we do support end-to-end starting from as the developers are writing the code. We can integrate with your CI/CD pipeline, and we can scan your CI/CD pipeline, and we can figure it out if there are any vulnerabilities. You could write a rule saying that if any vulnerability with the CVE or severity 5, then you want to pass-fail the build. That's something called as a Kubernetes admission controller, Abhishek. So we do support that, and we discover all of your Docker host, Kubernetes nodes, and containers and everything. Once we do that, then with our scanner, and again, same vulnerability management coverage that you are getting it for your on-prem, now same thing is extended for your container environment. Also, now with our newly introduced capability, container runtime security, now we are scanning and monitoring your container environment for the file system changes, for the malware, for the zero-day threat, so you don't have to worry. In other words, we do support both. There are some vendors who supports only the left-hand side. There are some vendor who only focuses on the right-hand side. But we firmly believe when it comes to securing your Kubernetes container environment, you really need an end-to-end coverage, starting from building the code, then scanning your image registry, and when the images becomes the runtime workload, then you want to monitor your production environment for any of the zero-day or a malware or a threat. Abhishek and Niharika, again, they are going to talk tomorrow, a deep dive into the container security, and Abhishek is going to unveil the roadmap and some of the exciting capability that he is working with our customer from McAfee. So she's here, and they will talk about this in detail. And by the way, we have a customer in the room, and perhaps most of us has a credit card or a checking account with them, and they have been using our container security product for more than 5 years. They have been securing more than 6.5 million container images. This is the scale we are talking. So this is an enterprise-grade solution that is being used by the Fortune 10 banks and the large customers worldwide. We do have 1,000+ customers, and container security remains one of the key use case that is being deployed by many large customers in their production environment. Here is the thing. Finally, when it comes to the risk, there are different contributing factors. Having an internet exposure, or having a vulnerability, having a misconfiguration, or excessive permission. If you really have a vulnerability just in itself, it's not bad. Just something exposed on the internet is not bad. Just having a misconfiguration, it's okay. But when you combine these signals together, then it becomes a very toxic combination, isn't it? Now, for example, imagine you have a publicly accessed, public exposed VM, and it is accessing the database, and it has a vulnerability. Now it becomes the toxic combination. Having just the VM exposed on the internet is not bad. But having a VM exposed on the internet, having access to the database, and has a IAM role configured with the excessive permission, now it becomes the toxic combination. We call this as a true risk insight. We do support right out of the box 100+ true risk insight. So you do not have to correlate these different signals, risk indicators yourself. You don't want to build a SIEM solution for your cloud environment. We do this by default. Everything is available with out of box with 100+ true risk insight that's available for you. Okay, so with the true risk insight, and those of you who are using our product, and I'll show in the demo as well. So with the true risk insight, you are getting the comprehensive risk prioritization view. Now I'm really super excited to announce something brand new that we are unveiling today, and it will go live in next 2 months. By December 31st is what engineering has promised. So super excited to announce the Total Cloud Attack Path. You guys have been asking for this capability for quite some time. You have seen the true risk insight. You get all the context, but then the question was, hey, how do I find out whether this virtual machine or this EC2 instance, how an attacker could access? And what if the attacker reaches to that virtual machine or EC2 instance? Then what is the blast radius, where they can go? You really wanted to find out, you wanted that additional context. So with our attack path, now you can get that context with a true risk insight. First, you see your top 10 signals that are correlated automatically for you. Once you see those signals, then you, for the additional context to find out the impact, to find out the blast radius, Now we are introducing this brand new capability called attack path visualization, and I'm going to show you in a couple of minutes in the demo. So with our attack path, now you can visualize end-to-end how the resource has a relationship with the other resources in your environment. What are the different vulnerabilities on that, or other the misconfiguration and the security findings on it? How it is connected to other nodes or other resources in your environment. What does that mean now? That means that based on this visualization, you could quickly figure it out that how an attacker could reach to the risky instance, and from there, how can they move laterally within your environment, and which are the other node potentially they can access it. So now you have a complete context. So first, we are correlating everything in a form of a true risk insight. Then we give you this attack path visualization. So now we have additional context. And for example, you have a VM per part of your air-gap network. Nobody can reach it, then there is no point in prioritizing that risk. Now this attack path will give you that visualization that how somebody can reach to a risky instance. Now finally, so far you saw all of the true risk insight and how we can help you with the attack path visualization, finding out the blast radius and whatnot. Finally, it is all about remediating the risk. It's not only about telling how bad is your environment, but it is also about helping you in remediating some of those risks, right? So I'm super excited to announce another new capability called Cloud Workflow Automation, which is branded, which we are calling it as a Qflow internally, which is a no-code, low-code, drag and drop sort of editor, where you can quickly build the conditions, and you can orchestrate any workflow that you can trigger towards your DevOps team, so that you have a preventive measure in the place. If you wanted to trigger a workflow to create the ticket, or create a ServiceNow, or push the things in a ServiceNow, or any of those right-hand side workflow with your SecOps team, you wanted to send alert to the Splunk or a QRadar, all of that you could orchestrate with our Cloud Workflow Automation tool. And this is part of your total cloud subscription. It is included. It's part of our platform capability. We have customers like a stock exchange group in London and many other banks who are using the Qflow, our cloud workflow automation capability, and they have built more than 100+ playbooks that are triggering, orchestrating the workflow through the DevOps pipeline, or on the right-hand side, they are triggering the workflow for the SecOps remediation. With that said, now the question is, how can I operationalize this? So with that said, time to switch to the demo. All right. So once you log into the total cloud platform, here is your finding available. You can see all of your public instance misconfiguration threats, perimeter vulnerabilities, images with a malware. Everything is ready for you, and I'll show you how easy it is to set up. Now, once you see that, you see the true risk insights, where we have correlated your misconfiguration, your vulnerability, your threat, your exposure, everything in a form of a true risk insight. Now you see one of them, true risk insights, and let's deep dive into this. So these are the top 10. Now here is a complete context. What are the contributing factor here? There is a malware detected. There is a S3 full access on this machine, and there is a overly excessive permission that has been configured here. Also, as a part of this, if you wanted to do the automatic remediation, that option is also available. Now here are the resources that are impacted because of this true risk insight. So now you can focus on the risks that matter most to you. Now you click on one of these instances, and here is where the newly introduced capability attack path, which is what we are announcing today. So now that comes into play, and you can now visualize end-to-end the attack path group. So Shrikant did a fantastic job in building this. It's such a nice visualization, and I'm pretty sure it is going to help you guys in prioritizing your risk, right? So now, in this case, you can see the EC2 instance, which we have flagged it as a high-risk asset. Now that has been exposed on the internet via the internet gateway, and somebody has misconfigured the security group. This is the beautiful part here, that it exactly pinpoints what was wrong and how this EC2 instance is accessed on the internet. Now you can work with your DevOps team, your SRE team, your cloud architecture team, and ask them to fix it. On the other side, you see that the machine has an excessive IAM role, which is leading to the access of the RDS instance. So now you see your blast radius here, that once the attacker is on EC2 instance, where they can go. Now we want to see all of the findings. All of this is combined together as you see that it has a database exposure, it has a ransomware vulnerability, it has a credential access, it has an OpenSSH vulnerability, and you want to further deep dive and see all of the security findings along with this, then double click on that, and now you see all of the findings on the EC2 instance, including the container that is being deployed here, and everything, all of that connected with a vulnerability, misconfiguration, threat, compliance issue, and all of the nodes that are connected to it. And we also figure it out, a misconfiguration and other things for those connected nodes. So now you exactly know the risk and what you need to prioritize. You could work with your DevOps or SRE team to fix some of those security groups. So let me show you how you can do now. Now that you know here that this security group has an issue because it has been misconfigured. So now here is the cloud workflow automation comes where you can quickly trigger the remediation, and this requires a 0 line of coding. This requires absolutely 0 line of coding where you can drag and drop bunch of nodes, trigger some conditions, orchestration and fire rules. We have many customers, banks and industrial automation companies and all, they have been leveraging this for their custom control. Most of the organization today have a custom control that they are not supported out of box, right? So they leverage our cloud workflow automation tool to gather those custom workflow and remediate those custom workflow. The question is, how easy it is with a cloud solution. Often a time the question is that, hey, it's not very intuitive, it's not very easy to deploy. And we are super excited to announce the new UX onboarding with a 3-click. Now you can configure the cloud environment very quickly, and we have promised our team that our sales EVP Claus is going to give a live demo when this goes live. This is already live by month end. So where is Claus? Claus is not listening, but Claus, you are going to give a demo. So here how you can simply connect your AWS, set up the ARN role, and once it is going to be connected to your cloud, it start fetching the inventory within a few minutes. Your inventory is available. By the way, whatever I'm showing it, this is going live by month end. The attack path will go live by December. Now, once the dashboard is built, you can see here all of the misconfiguration, perimeter vulnerabilities, your AWS accounts with a fail control. All of this is automatically assessed as soon as you set up the connector. As long as you have given the permissions, everything is automatically set up. Now, here is the inventory. This is the one part that is very foundational for visibility, right? The first part, which is very, very foundational for any risk management journey. So all of your multi-cloud inventory resources, we are discovering it. Now you can go back to your cloud platform team. If any of the resources that were provisioned and still not being used, then you can ask them to turn it down. Here are some of the cloud posture assessment that we are doing it automatically. We do have a policy, built-in policy, that some of them you can use it, and some of them you can override. We have a AWS best practice policy. Most of the customers are leveraging that. But if you wanted to override, we do full support so that you can override the policy and you can customize as per your environment. And here is the last part, is the report. Finally, you need to be audit ready. This is the one thing that everybody needs to take care, right? And we do support 35 plus built-in mandate, as I said. Your NIST, your CMMI, your FedRAMP, your PCI, GDPR, HIPAA, ISO, you name it, you got it. All you have to do is once the assessment is done, just select which mandate you want to generate the report, and you are ready to go. And it will show you clearly how many controls are passing, how much percentage of the compliance that you have. In fact, it will tell you as per the requirement that which part AA or AT, data security part. So now you can point to your auditor if they are asking you the question that, can you show me the compliance for the data security for the cloud environment? So we have built-in report that makes your life very, very easy. And finally, we have a true risk insight report, which gives you visibility into your multi-cloud infrastructure. This is the executive ready report. As you can see here, this You can request by scanning the QR code in the end. It shows you all of your workload, all of your instances, and not only that, but it shows you the risk. Curated findings are shown here, and this is absolutely free. In the end, I'm going to show you the QR code. It doesn't require your credit card. It doesn't require your social security number. So just sign up for it. This is the free report, free utility report that you can show it, share it with your cloud team, with your CISO, with your executive. It points out all of the issues, including how you can remediate the risk, right, with the best practice guide and everything. Here is the QR code. So please sign up, and we will reach out to you for the free report. This same thing, it will be generated for you guys, so you can present it to your cloud team or your executive to give them an idea about the cloud security posture for your environment, right? So with that said, thank you so much for your time. And now I'm going to invite one of our customer. And let's switch back to the slides, please. Okay. All right, so let's hear from JC Najera, a customer from Synapse. He has been using our VMDR compliance for the last 6 years, and now they moved to the cloud, so he has been using our total cloud for the last 2 years. So let's hear from him. So please welcome JC, and thank you so much for your time. All right, bro.
Thank you very much, Kunal.
Yeah.
Very looking forward to the attack path, by the way. All right. Hello, everyone. So my name is Jose Carlos Najera. I'm a SOC Manager at Synapse. And today, I want to tell you a little bit of a story. But before that, I want to tell you that I am a SOC Manager. I've been doing this for 12 years. I've been using Qualys for 12 years as well. And the reason I have Alan over there is because 2 years ago, I was invited to the QSC in Las Vegas, that's where the announcement where TotalCloud was made. And Alan was interviewing me, and he asked me if I saw the announcement about TotalCloud and what were my thoughts about it. And I told that, of course, Synapse would be happy to test it out. Synapse is an ERP and cloud service provider, managed service provider. And it kind of makes sense because we do that, right? So here I am 2 years after that interview to talk about a little bit of how our journey with TotalCloud was, or is, and how it will be as well. So a little bit of background of Synapse and how Synapse is unique. So we are a large ERP service provider for ERP and cloud solutions. We've been doing this for over 50 years. And during those 50 years, we have proven that we're leaders of this field. So, as a matter of fact, Synapse is the only premier partner that has the SAP, Oracle, and Microsoft competencies. And also we have the MSP designation. So that's big for us. It means that we know what we're doing in the cloud, and it means that the cloud is actually very special to us. So that's why we decided to do a bit of a journey on the cloud security. So Synapse global footprint is, we're doing operations in 12 countries. We are a company that has 2,000 employees, and we have 1,000 customers around the globe. So we have multiple customers, multiple necessities. They're all different. It's manufacturing, healthcare. There's a lot of industries there. So it's a big complexity. And our journey with Qualys has been, a big journey. We started with them on 2017. We started with policy compliance. That was the first step we did on the security side of things for Qualys. Then we moved on with SCA, and then VMDR, which was 2 years ago. And that's why we started talking about that on QSC. And now, we are moving our workloads to the cloud. We're evolving stuff. We're integrating and presenting more and more complexity to our solutions. There's multiple or multi-ERP solutions on multi-cloud environments. So that's, that hybrid is definitely complex, right? It's so complex that we need to figure out a way of managing the security around that. So while we were trying to figure out how can we do that in the security world, we figured we needed to have a tool that was trusty enough to make it happen in this complex situation. And we decided that we had to fulfill certain requirements so we could actually get the right tool for the right solution. So the first requirement was that this tool should be embracing the diversity of the clouds. Again, it's a multi-cloud thing. We are doing AWS, Azure, GCP, and OCI. So there's definitely a diversity component over there. We couldn't use just the native applications or the branded applications. We needed just one that could actually correlate everything in a single one. We needed also a tool that was mature enough to use or utilize industry standards, so then our customers would feel like they're safe and that our posture was safe as well. So that was very important, tool maturity. The flexibility of having a tool that is capable of establishing certain controls, but also that we could actually do some exceptions. For example, there are customers that were either newly brought into Syntax or they were migrated, and they cannot do a full-blown CSPM. We need to be a little bit of flexible there. So that was also a requirement. And last but not least, it should be cost-effective, right? And it should be cost-effective in two ways. So one is that it should adapt to what we already had as vulnerability management, VMDR processes, but also should be something that is time effective, or it should be quick enough to do this. So that's how we remember the QSC 2022, and we remember how we figured things out, or we saw things on Total Cloud. And then we saw the seamless integration with all the multi-cloud platforms. We saw that Total Cloud CSPM was able to comply with industry standards as well, because it offered CIS benchmarks, but also offered the cloud postures or mandates. That was actually very, very useful. And the ability of having API flexibility, or utilizing API for our metrics, that was important. We saw a lot of tools that had good things, but there was no API capabilities. So that actually didn't help us a lot, because we needed to have a certain wiggle room for metrics and other integrations, in-house dashboards, and so on. Also, one very important thing that we figured out was that there were guided remediation steps. So the whole process of figuring things out, doing the solutions, the remediations, those were actually very simple to follow up. We just sent out the instructions to our cloud engineers, and they read along all the steps. They figured out the steps, did the remediation, and that's it. It was something very simple, and also it was something that it was very familiar, because that's how VMDR works as well. You have the problem, they tell you the solution, you apply the solution, and that's it, right? And we did have also the component of the custom dashboards. Again, we have a lot of customers, we have multiple clouds, we have multiple ERPs, so having custom dashboards were actually mandatory, and we found out that we could actually achieve that as well. And again, we could leverage tags, as in VMDR, for example, to identify customers, to identify environments, and so on. So that actually helped us to build up and scale our vulnerability management process, and that's why we I'm telling this in a way that it was cost effective, because we integrated both processes within the same team, because again, it made sense. So when we decided to implement this, we figured out a lot of good things. We saw a lot of good things, and we figured out it was a huge success, because first off, we were able to create what we call the Syntax security standard, right? It's the own security standard for Syntax. We established that standard for all of our customers, and that was extremely good, because we were able to create something for our own based on industry standards, mandates, but also certain things here and there that we know that are either valuable to our customers or that needed to be tweaked because of certain technology things, right? Also, the ability of being able to successfully have a tool that natively would show metrics on multi-cloud, where we could have customers having ERP solutions over AWS and Azure, and we could actually see the whole cloud security posture management in the same platform, the same dashboard. The exception tracking was also good because we wanted to be flexible for the customers, especially the new ones. We could establish certain criteria. We could document the exceptions and then figure out later on how will be the steps. But the good thing was we won't be able to lose track of it because we were documenting it properly in the same tool, right? The integration with VMDR, the same look and feel, the same QQL language, dashboards, widgets. It's pretty much the same thing. So it was very simple to us to figure things out. It was almost natural, right? It just made sense. And the standardized dashboards. Standard dashboards for us mean that we have the syntax standard for cloud. Hence, we need to measure how far we are from the standard. So this dashboard would actually help us understand where are the risks, who owns all of those risks, and how can we fix them in order to be close to our new standard that we just defined. 90, 40, and 50. Those numbers mean a lot to us. 90% less identification time. That was huge because we were doing this manually. We're trying to figure things out on the fly, having multiple clouds, not knowing exactly where things were in terms of, again, there was no central point of having all the information in there. 40% less mean time to respond because, again, we saw things faster, so we could respond to them faster as well. There were good solutions. There was no need of Googling things or calling support or anything else because all the solutions were there. We could just figure things out following those steps. And 50% more visibility on misconfiguration. So initially we thought we had all figured out. We deployed the connectors, and then we saw a lot of things going on. And so that means we didn't have any visibility in those controls. That was important to us because now we could enhance our security posture, and now everything would be, it's better, basically. So this outcome was so relevant to Syntax, and it has such a positive impact on us that we decided to change our standard offering to all of our cloud customers. And start this year, we decided to include Total Cloud as part of the standard offering and as part of the core service that we provide to all of our cloud customers. Because we decided that this was worthy enough to actually give them to the customers so they can be protected as well. And since we were doing this for them, we leveraged the API usability to create dashboards for them as well, so they can actually see them without going into the platform and so on. We created a special hub that is called CX Hub or Customer Hub that will show them exactly what the measurements were. The future for Syntax and Qualys, and this is something that I'm very excited about, is first of all, reach out the 85% compliance for all the customers we have. Second of all, I think we will be very, very happy to start integrating FlexScan, VMDR, Total Cloud, CSPM into a single process. We want to explore container security. I think that's a natural step to do it. And last but not least, automated remediation. I started talking about manual steps and following these steps. So I'm pretty sure someone at some point will ask me, well, let's just optimize this. How are you going to do that? Well, I already have the solution. I mean, there are automated remediations available, so I just need to change all the process, and that's it. It's very simple. So I really hope that in 2 years from now, maybe less, I'll be here standing with you guys again, telling you that we achieved all of these goals. Thank you very much for everything.